All right, welcome back to the Black Owned Podcast with your host AD and Leo and our brother from another mother, Bab, down at the bottom. And we're back talking about the undrafted free agent class of the Houston Texans. They brought in, if I'm not mistaken, Bab, give me the number of players they brought in, undrafted free agents.
10.
They brought in 10 players. As undrafted free agents. I just wanted to make sure I had the right amount. Looking down at my list, they brought in Seth Green, tight end from Houston, Colby Harville-Peel, safety from Oklahoma State, Jacoby Francis, defensive back, cornerback from Memphis, Tristan McCollum, cornerback from Sam Houston State, Damian Daniels, defensive lineman from Nebraska. He's a big old defensive tackle, like 330, 340. Damn near Jordan Davis size. I think he's like 6'3", 6'4". Jake Hansen, linebacker, Illinois. Kurt Henish, defensive lineman, Notre Dame. Myron Cunningham, offensive tackle from Arkansas. And Johnny Johnson, wide receiver from Oregon. And Drew Estrada, wide receiver from Baylor. If you want to start, Bab, you can go ahead.
Yeah, so I have a few guys that, when I was kind of diving into looking into these guys, there's a couple that I had actually, I'd never realized that I heard of outside of Seth Green, who is the tight end at U of H, right? So, I'll just start with Seth Green straight off the bat. Seth Green is a converted quarterback, dual threat quarterback. If you look up Seth Green, you're not going to find really anything tight end highlight wise of him anywhere. You're just going to see that, there's a lot of really cool highlights of him just bullying like quarterback draws. You know what I'm saying? And it just smashing into the end zone. So like big physical guy, 6'4", 240, I think. We threw the ball all over the place at U of H, and that's just how we play. And unfortunately, Seth Green wasn't so tested as a run blocker. But I mean, he's a very physical, very athletic 6'4", 240, great body to have in a very thin group of tight ends, right? I mean, we have 3 that were officially on the roster, and now we just added 2 more, and that's all we have. We have 5. So, if it stands like that, he'll be on the practice squad. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. That looks good. Did y'all want to touch on Seth Green at all, or I can kind of go down the list? Yeah,
just go down the list.
Cool. So the next one of note for me, Tristan McCollum, Zion McCollum's twin brother, right? I think AD, you made a funny joke in the spaces, like how is
how are they both the same? They're twins. They play the same position, same height, same weight, same speed, same athleticism, same everything. But one goes in the 5th round and the other one gets undrafted. Make it make sense.
Hey, so maybe we get lucky.
Right.
One of them was a late bloomer.
Right. They both started at Sam Houston. Sam Houston has been perennial in the FCS. Especially these last few years. They won, I think, 2 national championships. In the last 3 or 4 years, they won 2, and they've been to the national championship game 3 years in a row.
Yep.
So they've been productive on a high level and a lower level. He is a good player. He is a productive player, just as productive as his brother. I think his brother was had more of the interceptions stats. Rather than Tristan, but Tristan is a damn good cornerback. He is somebody that you would probably want to hide on your practice squad for a year and then bring him up and see if he can come in and fill in. Or if he does make the roster, he's going to be a great special teams player.
Yeah.
Well, so I really do like that pick.
Yeah. So the next one on here was Damian Daniels. Now, Hey, as soon as you pop on something from YouTube, this is a snack machine. of a defensive tackle, bro. Like just a massive, massive person. Like the epitome of like those old Steelers, old Ravens nose tackles type. You know what I'm saying? And bro, they were having him shade as a 3 technique on some plays, and he was coming down and crashing the center. That center was sent to the emergency room. I mean, like just off of momentum. You know what I'm saying? He is just cracking hose like straight up the head. Like just man, it was so cool seeing how they were using him and how athletic he is for how big he is. Why he went undrafted, I have no idea. You know, maybe not as in good of football shape as maybe he needs to be or something, but man, he's a mover for how big he is, right? I mean, AD, what'd you see from this guy?
Just a massive human being, just a space eater. Just he played at times like a grown man amongst boys. He is a physical, big, nasty type of defensive tackle that the Texans don't have on the roster. I look at Roy Lopez. He's your shade nose right now, but Roy Lopez looks like a tiny linebacker compared to
Really,
Daniels.
really. I think Daniels has 30 pounds on him, really.
Easy. He has 30, 40 pounds easy on Roy Lopez. And, he is going to have a place on his roster, especially with the defensive tackle room kind of being thin. You got Roy Lopez, Malik Collins, Ross Blacklock, and, not much, and Thomas Booker. But after that, it's kind of like, once again, the who's who and, the Joes, the bros and the Joes on the rest of the roster. So he can surely find a fit. My thing is if they make, even if the Texans, I know it may be kind of, people may look at it like, oh, what do you mean? But Ross Blacklock could be cut.
Yeah.
And then you're with the rotation of Daniels, Booker, Malik Collins, and Roy Lopez. So there is a real possibility that Ross Blacklock gets cut, which opens the door for Daniels to make the roster and be productive as a rotational piece. But I do see him as a player.
Yeah, I mean, I truly think like today, like Damian Daniels would have really no issues in the NFL. So the next one was Jake Hansen, linebacker from Illinois. This one's kind of weird because he's like kind of a big deal when you look him up. A known commodity, a known baller, and then you're sitting here like, well, what the hell? Like, what happened? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of a mystery. This is one of those guys, him and the next person we're going to talk about. Well, we can kind of we can combine both of these guys in the same conversation. So Kurt Hinish was like a massive deal for Notre Dame. They made such a huge deal out of bringing in Kurt Hinish, and that he was just going to be this monster, right? And Kurt Hinish never really panned out in Notre Dame. And then, you have Jake Hansen, who was good in Illinois, but you realize where he's coming from?
Yep. Ties. Illinois.
You see what I'm talking about? Yeah. So as I was watching more stuff, I was like, what the fuck? Like, well, what he looks good. He looks like he's making plays. Like, why wasn't he drafted? What's going on? And then I'm sitting here thinking, oh shit, is Jake Hansen one of those players that said, don't draft me, I'm going to go play for Lovey?
Yeah, maybe. That is one of those situations that I brought up before, is that when you get to the 6th and 7th round, players talk to their agents and the agents talk to these teams. If the teams come calling, they kind of, even though the teams say they want to draft them, they say, I prefer not to be drafted. I want to go the undrafted free agent route. If you watch and people don't understand it, but the reason why I know about this is because I watch Hard Knocks every year. Yeah. And you see these type of conversations just from the Hard Knocks videos, because they go and do a replay of the draft and they go and they show in the war room and all that type of stuff. and they show you these conversations and stuff like that. And even the undrafted players will come in and say, I wanted to be here. I chose not to get drafted. Such and such team was calling, and I told my agent, let them know we'll pass. We want to go the undrafted free agent route. So these are the type of things that go on within the NFL. So this may be.
Yeah, this really seems like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, really, when you look up Jake Hansen, he looks like a baller. Like he actually looks like he should have been in the conversation with linebackers, and it's like, man, this guy should have probably gone like mid 6th round. Yeah. Like really stats, the hype, all of it. You go and watch his highlights, like the dude's balling, like he really is. And it's that situation where it's like, damn, this dude pulled the plug on getting drafted to come and play for his former college coach. Like this has got to be what it is,
And isn't he on? But he is on the smaller side, though.
Yeah, but it's one of those. It's one of those just like, damn, like, yo, this is something.
He's a player regardless of the size. He is a player. He is somebody that you want on your team. And he's a playmaker, especially for Illinois. He was one of their main playmakers on that defense. So, I see that as a good pickup as well.
So I don't know much about Myron Cunningham. I know that the Texans were really high on him. I would have to do a little bit more research to have an opinion on him. But AD, I wanted you to touch on Johnny Johnson from Oregon.
Johnny Johnson is a slot receiver from Oregon who was very, very productive while he was there. He, he shows some flashes. He's a, quick burst kind of guy. He gets down the field, with ease as well. And I feel like he is a underrated slot receiver. I think, he's one of those nobody's talking about guys because the Oregon quarterback situation has been horrible for at least the last 4 or 5 years. So for him to make a way and be productive even without a quarterback, shows that he has talent. And I feel like if given the opportunity, he can show and at least be a practice squad type of player. Yeah.
So I think in like the same vein, the next guy here on the list is Drew Estrada, right? And, where you had some information on Johnny Johnson, Drew Estrada, sorry, Johnny Johnson, man. Okay. Drew Estrada, so he went to Dartmouth College. So he was in Ivy League, right? Transfers from Ivy League to go play in Baylor to pursue football, right? And when you watch him play, everything about his play is technical. Yeah. He is a route technician, right? He's getting open simply because he's running his route so clean you can't cover it, right? Okay. There's a couple plays where he's scoring touchdowns and stuff like that, but one of the most telling things was watching his interview and hearing what kind of person he was. He's like a Texans player. Yeah, I'm saying, like, you listen to him and it's like, okay, yeah. And I encourage you guys to go watch a little bit of him because you'd watch him and go, that's a Texans receiver. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a guy right there that they would bring in. But yeah, I mean, overall, the undrafted free agent group kind of panned out the way I thought it was going to, where you probably have a fringe 53-man roster player in Damian Daniels. Yeah, I'm saying. And then which one of these guys isn't making the practice squad?
Right. That may be your practice squad right now,
Yeah.
You can hold up to, I think it's 16 players on practice squad now.
I think something like that.
Yeah, I think it's 16 players. So I mean, if you add these 10 plus, 6 veterans, there's your practice squad right there.
These are good players, man. And remember, it's a massively deep draft eligible class. So
yeah,
whereas we might have seen all of these guys go in the like 6th or 7th round, we had the luxury of getting them here, you know. Damian Daniels, I feel like you put on his highlight stuff and you're like,
Yeah.
what the hell? Like, no one wanted to just take a flyer real quick on this guy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, damn.
Mhm.
Yeah. But hey, I mean, that's all I got about undrafted free agents.
You know, and that kind of wraps it up for that portion, you know, as far as the Texans draft.
Mhm.
And we'll see you guys next time.
All right.